People try to tell you that you can't lose fat and gain muscle at the same time, but they're only saying this because they haven't actually done it for themselves. Almost every single client that we work with experiences both fat loss and muscle gain within the first 20 weeks of our program, so we have it down to a science. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to find the exact calories that you need in order to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. What most people do is follow very broad and general advice of eat less and do more, or eat more to build muscle, or be in a calorie deficit to lose fat, which can be decent advice if you know that it applies to you in your specific situation. If it's not the right advice for you, this will lead you to seeing results for a couple of weeks, then you hit a plateau, and then you stop seeing results, and then you get frustrated, and then you fall off, and then you miss those results, so you go back to the plan, and then this cycle repeats over and over and over again, and you gain and lose the same 5 to 10 pounds every single year. If this sounds like you, and you care at all to have the body of your dreams, to stay lean for life, and to eat more food than you ever have before, this is your solution. I don't want this to just be another video contributing to information overload on the internet. So to know that this is going to work for you, we first need to know what kinds of people can lose fat and gain muscle at the same time effectively, so that you can know that this is exactly what you need. There are 3 main types of people that can lose fat and gain muscle at the same time very effectively. Number 1 is a true beginner. This is an individual who doesn't have a ton of experience training or in the gym, and they haven't paid very much attention to tracking their food much at all. This person is going to experience what we call newbie gains when they start any sort of fitness or nutrition goal, so they are primed and ready to experience fat loss and muscle gain at the same time. Number 2 is the gym rat that eats like a toddler. This is the person that's going to the gym, and they might be going to the gym pretty often, but they're not training very effectively, they don't have a ton of purpose, and they're usually overtraining coupled with undereating. And this has been happening for a decent bit of time. This is where most people are and don't even realize it. So this is why we see so many clients respond so well within the first 20 weeks of our program. And lastly is the glory days individual. This is somebody who used to be in the gym and used to be on their shit, but has been out of the gym for months, if not years. So they already have that foundation built, they just need some help getting back there. So now that you know that this is going to work for you and what you need, let's get into find the exact calories that you need. The first step to finding the perfect calories for your goals is to figure out what you're actually eating in the first place. This allows you to accurately see what you're eating on a daily basis, as most people grossly underestimate what they're actually eating in a day. People will say that they're eating 12 to 1500 calories, but then they track their coffee creamer, and they track their glass of wine at night, and they track the 5 pieces of candy that they drive by and pick up off of their coworker's office desk. And it ends up being a lot more than they thought it was. The most accurate way to figure out what you're eating on a day-to-day basis is going to be to track your food for 7 to 14 days. I recommend downloading an app like MyFitnessPal or My Macros Plus and tracking everything in there to keep it simple. You're going to want to get a food scale so that you can learn how to use that, because that is the most accurate way for you to weigh and track your food. After you track everything for that 7 to 14 days, make sure that you include your weekends, because this is where people slip up. During the 7 to 14 days, make sure that you are weighing yourself 5 times a week, if not daily, so that you can see your weight patterns to make sure that you are in fact maintaining. Remember that your weight will fluctuate on a day-to-day basis, but we want to be tracking the weekly average of the weight. After that 7 to 14 days, you're going to have a lot of data that you can compare, and you're going to find the average. It's very normal for your calories to vary on a day-to-day basis, especially when you're not paying attention to what you're eating by tracking them already. By giving your body a consistent amount of calories to eat every single day, you're going to be giving it a consistent stimulus to respond to. When my client Elena started working with me, she was eating 1500 calories some day, 1800 another, and then 2300 another. What we did when she started was set a consistent calorie goal of 2000, which was the average amount of calories that she was already eating, with 140 grams of protein a day, and you can see how much tighter she got in just a week of getting consistent with her intake. How you can do this is take the total amount of calories in that 7 to 14 days, and you're going to find the average of the total. That is the total amount of calories that you want to hit for another 7 to 14 days to see how your body responds. You also want to set your protein goal to around 1 gram per pound of body weight. Follow this calorie and protein goal for 7 to 14 days and make sure that you're monitoring your progress. You can do this by tracking your scale weight, again, at least 5 times a week, if not daily, and taking weekly progress photos. Within this time frame, your body is going to start responding and making changes, and you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that so that you can keep making progress. The issue that many people run into is they start this new diet and they slash their calories by like 500 and they just leave them there. So when they stop making progress because their body has adapted to this new intake, They just think that the plan isn't working anymore and they give up. This is a process called metabolic adaptation that occurs in the body, which simply means that our body is adapting to what its new normal is. In order for us to know when and how much to adjust our calories by, we need to be paying attention to what our body is actually doing. You want to pay attention to your progress in the form of your daily weigh-ins, your weekly progress photos, and your biofeedback such as strength, hunger, energy, sleep, digestion, etc. This is when you're going to make an adjustment of about 5 to 10%, and then you're going to hold for another 7 to 14 days and see how your body responds to that. This is the process that you're going to repeat of track and assess, adjust as needed, track and assess again, and rinse and repeat. How often you adjust your calories and by how much is going to be highly dependent on the individual. So this is why it's so important to pay attention to your body and how you are responding versus just following some blanket advice that somebody else gave you that worked for their body. Rinse and repeat this process for a max of 12 to 16 weeks before you choose your next goal of either fat loss or muscle gain. For a lot of people, fat loss will be your next goal because your metabolism is now primed and ready to be able to actually lose that fat so you can get lean and stay lean after the diet is over and just focus on making improvements to your physique through building muscle. And lastly, remember that it's not 80% nutrition. It is both 100% nutrition and 100% training. So if your training sucks, this process isn't going to give you the same results as if you were training properly. For examples on how to train properly with good form, execution, and intensity, check out our training videos on our YouTube channel where we put clients, athletes, and others through workouts so that you can learn more about what true training looks like.